All right, guys. Hey, it's Mike with Wild Things Exotic Pets here, and we're at the Show Me Reptile show here in Loveland, Colorado. And what we've got here today we've got a bunch of crazy stuff. To start out with, we've got these little baby Asian water monitors. These guys are possible het black dragon and possible het sulfur. And what's really cool about these guys is we work really closely with Kevin McCurley, who owns New England Reptile Distributors. And we are actually the only place in the world that you can find his animals other than his own facility. So anything we have was either produced by us or by Kevin. And what's really cool about that is we get these amazing little water monitors. He's the most knowledgeable person, biggest breeder, best breeder for these guys in the entire world. These guys will get a really bad reputation because a lot of people get them wild caught and they tend to be really, really nasty and have some pretty ill temperaments and not the healthiest. These guys are all capture bred and socialized. So since the day they hatch out of the egg, they're played with by people. And these guys are about 10 to 12 weeks old at this point and just absolute big old sweethearts. These guys form bonds with you. These guys are dog level intelligent. They're super, super fun. So it's really cool to see these little babies so chill so early. They're just amazing little critters. And then some other really cool things we get from Kevin are going to be these reticulated pythons. And so he's got a couple really famous retics. One of them is Moo, which is the first cow ever produced in captivity. And these 3 cow babies are from Moo herself. And then he's got another really famous snake named Snarfles. And Snarfles was this guy's dad up here. Snarfles is probably one of his, if not his most famous retic out there. And that's his little dad, just a little cool tidbit of information. And then we've even got the leucistic retics, which you don't see very often. We've got some dwarfs. They'll max out at about 7 to 8 feet. And the dwarfs we have are going to be Pampeas and they're anery head albinos. They're 90+% dwarf. So they've got some really cool genetics out there with them. And retics get a really bad reputation for being kind of nasty and mean. And let me grab some keys here. Thank you. And so retics will, like I said, get a really bad reputation for kind of being a little bit more aggressive, really defensive snake. But that's all about the way they're raised up and they're handled, things like that. So this girl is one of our little cows, and these guys are absolutely amazing, just giant sweethearts. And as she gets older, she's gonna lose that yellow, and she's just gonna get those big old black spots all over. That's how they got their name, the cow. They're made when you combine a head orange ghost stripe and a phantom together. And so a super simple, easy snake to make, but you get a really amazing killer offspring from it. Oh, you're gonna be a little head shy. There's so much going on, I know. But super amazing animals, some of my favorite retics out there. And then we've even got some really cool stuff like the anthraxes. We've got a tiger anthrax, a tiger head anthrax, and then just a normal anthrax. And then some of your more popular ones, the golden childs. We've got a golden child phantom pos head anthrax and a golden child platy phantom. And then some of my favorite snakes we've recently gotten are going to be these blood pythons. And so this is a golden eye blood python. And what's really cool about these guys is these guys were from Kevin McCurley's wild line. So these guys get some crazy blushing. So here we've got some 2023 babies, and they're not as colorful, but this is a 2022 baby. And you see all that color they gain over just that year. And blood pythons, again, get a really bad reputation for being really cantankerous, a little bit nippy. But if you work with these guys, they turn into big old babies. Just absolute big old sweeties. And I love these guys because they're just so fat and girthy, and they're like sausages. They're some of my favorite snakes out there. And then we've got things like batiks as well. And then we've got some baby golden eyes. I've got a T-positive albino. I've got a baby batik het T-neg. I've got all kinds of stuff. We've got some bigger retics here as well. We've got some tiger anthrax, tiger head anthrax, some really cool genetics for them. And then we've got a bunch of ball pythons. We've got any ball python you could imagine. We've got a lot of hidden gene woma stuff with us this weekend, a lot of spider, a lot of pastel. We've got a few pied projects and coral glows, all kinds of fun stuff. And these guys are known to be some of the chillest snakes out there. They're amazing, amazing starter snakes as well. They stay decently small, and they're like a pet rock. They're just gonna sit there in your hand. And they come in all sorts of different colors and patterns, and this is what all these big long names mean. So this one is called a Coral Glow Inchy Fader, and it's also possible het pied. And it's a female, so not super common for these guys to be females at all. They're super, super fun, really cool little guys. I've even got a soul sucker, which is a lot of people really like the soul suckers. And he's gonna have some added genetics in there. He's got pastel, pinstripe, yellow belly, and more than what we know of. That's what that plus means. And then we've got things like Cypress Honey Inkshi. I've got albino pieds. I've got a bunch of spider stuff. I've even got a dwarf boa here. He's a hypo T positive albino Burke boa, so he'll max out at about 4.5, 5 feet, somewhere in there. We've got just your plain old normal, and he was busting out of his tub earlier, so we had to tape him in there, make sure he stays safe. And we've even got your really super beginner snakes like your colubras. We've got a couple of king snakes here, a milk snake, a corn snake. And these guys are super awesome, easy snakes, especially if you're trying to talk your parents into getting you a reptile. This is what I started out with, was just a little baby corn snake. And these guys started my passion for everything. And now I'm addicted and I've got more animals than I know what to do with. These guys started the whole passion for me. They're amazing little critters. And then we've got things like leopard geckos, and leopard geckos are some of our favorite beginner geckos that we breed. So right off the bat, we got some 50% black knights. Their dad was a pretty much pure black knight. We imported those guys from Canada. We bought out Toronto's geckos collection. So this is a little blazing blizzard. And these guys can lose their tails, but if they do, they grow it back. It just looks a little funky, but they're completely healthy and they'll be okay. We don't want them to drop their tail, but if they do, they'll be okay. They'll live. But these guys are super, super cool. They get about 6 to 8 inches, can live in a 20 gallon their entire life. Super fun, super easy little pets. We've got things like gargoyle geckos, which are gonna be these 4 right here. And these are probably one of my favorite New Caledonian geckos. They're super, super cool. These guys, if they lose their tail, they will grow it back. And these guys eat a thing called Pangea, which is a powder you mix with water into like a baby food. And we give that to them twice a week, and we give them crickets once a week. They don't need any extra lighting or heating. You just want to spray them down once a day and keep them at room temperature. So they're incredibly easy to keep. Super, super fun. And then we also have a bunch of crested geckos. And all the new cows we all breed ourselves. And here's a little female. So these guys are super fun. If these guys lose their tail, they do not grow it back, but they've got a cute little frog butt, and they're amazing as always. It doesn't affect their life at all. And these guys will eat the exact same diet as those gargoyles, so they eat that Pangea and then crickets. And these guys are super cool. You'll also hear them called the eyelash gecko. But yeah, they're super fun. We've got a bunch of different varieties of those guys. We've got some soft scale stuff. We've got lily whites. We've got Dalmatian, super Dalmatian, all kinds of stuff. But super fun, easy animals. And if you guys are ever looking for anything, we carry pretty much everything out there. And if I don't have it, I can get it in from Kevin. If you guys ever want to look at something, all of our social media is our website. Everything is Wild Things NoCo, N-O-C-O. And yeah, feel free to reach out to us to say hi at any other show across the country. We'll see ya.